I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Swiss Chalet's festive special is back. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. It's a tradition truly worth sharing. The festive special, only at Swiss Chalet.
A very pleasant good day and welcome to the North Bay Granite Club. This is the Swiss Chalet Women's Curling Stadium Spiel. I'm Dave Schmel. I'm joined by Jim Nix this morning, and we feature this draw between Emma Artichuk and Team Henderson from Scotland being skipped by Robin Monroe tonight. So, Jim, tell me what you know about these two teams.
Yeah, it won't take long, Dave. I know nothing about the Artichuk team at all, other than they lost their first game in this event to Haley Armstrong, 7-4. I don't know much else about them and haven't had a chance really to look them up. Fay Henderson, although Fay's not here today, she at least, and I suspect the whole team is the reigning world junior champions, or maybe not reigning, 2023. I guess maybe that's more than a year ago now, but as far as curling goes. But they are the 2023 World Junior Champs. They also played in the Halifax Spiel last weekend, where they lost in the semis of that Spiel. So a pretty good run there. And that's kind of all I know. And I don't know why Faye's not here today. Perhaps she played last week and just had to get back. I'm not sure. But so they've adjusted their lineup a little bit, brought in their fifth player, and we'll go with Robin Monroe at the helm.
All right, sounds like it's going to be interesting. We'll learn a lot about these teams together. It is Team Artichuk. They're throwing the blue stones, and they have the hammer here in the first end of play from North Bay. This event being sponsored by Swiss Chalet along with Curling Stadium. And Jim, I'll tell you all I know about Swiss Chalet is apparently their fried chicken is to die for.
Yeah, very popular restaurant chain up here in Canada for sure, and in Eastern Canada as well. I recall back a few years ago when the first Swiss Chalet was in Nova Scotia in Halifax, in the city of Halifax, and it was the only one. So we all really loved when we got to go to Swiss Chalet and have either chicken or ribs. They were pretty well known for their ribs for a long time as well.
Well, I'm going to need a care package in at some point.
Yes, you will.
They're trying to hold on to this little downweight takeout attempt. Hold on the line pretty well. They will clear it out and just stay right there in the forefoot. Both teams seeming content to go up and down the ice a little bit here. This is the second day of action here at this event. We have games for you all day here on Curling Stadium from this event. Withdrawals at 8, 11:15, 2:30, 5:45, and 9 p.m. So you can get yourself all cozied in and watch some curling with us today. That hit falls and heads on over all the way out to the wing. So we'll get our first look at a shot all the way out here. And this is kind of probably going to be helpful to both teams because you probably don't practice this pregame, especially when you're still doing draws of the button.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is Jamie Smith. Throws that intern hit, no problem. Two teams continuing to go up and down the ice, just trading hits here. Just trying to get a feel for things a little early in the morning. Maybe the coffee hasn't quite set in yet, so get your legs under you before you kind of really dive into everything.
Yeah, it is an early start, 8 a.m. So it's 8 a.m. local time is certainly early draw. Just trying to check a little bit out on this team. Artichuk and has played a lot of events this year. I'm not sure of results yet, but has definitely played a lot. And Emma herself was second on the Laurier Golden Hawks team last year out of Waterloo, Ontario, the university team. Moved up to skipping here. I assume she played second last year on that team. So this would, I think, be a big step up. So very young team, obviously. Fourth year university last year. So
you mentioned it being a very early draw. There was nobody likes the early draw at a bond Spiel, and it's especially if you're running through the A bracket and end up still getting rewarded with it somehow. So some friends of mine made shirts, and then they were picked up by a clothing producer, and the shirt just simply has a hashtag ban the 8 a.m. draw.
Yeah,
which is kind of interesting because the gentleman took over running an event from myself where I have an 8 o'clock draw on there. So he plans to make it 8:01.
Yeah, you're just going to one up you a little bit, so to speak.
Yeah, he did that to one up because there's not really an option because the schedule for that event also has a 10:15 p.m. drill. So what are you going to do? Start them at 11?
Yeah, it's sometimes a challenge when you're making up draws for sure. None of the curlers like the early draws. Nobody really likes the really late draws. We had a draw last night, started at 9:45 p.m. local time. That's pretty late for a Bonspiel's game to start, but every event ends up being a week long if you don't go a little long.
No, absolutely. And what do you do to when you have that long gap? Because a lot of times you end up with a long gap there. How do you keep yourself mentally properly prepared for a draw like that?
Yeah, that can be a challenge for sure because you can only talk so much curling, and a lot of teams will find something completely different to do, whether it's go to an indoor go-kart track, or go to an arcade, take in a movie, whatever it is, just so you're not laying around the whole day. And most of these teams certainly would make a point of not letting that happen, where they just did nothing but lounge around the hotel for 8 hours. They certainly find time to go do something. A lot of them would actually go work out, which I never understood, but probably a good idea.
It might be a big reason why we are the ones sitting here talking incessantly about curling all day.
Yeah, as opposed to being on the ice somewhere. Yeah. Pretty open end here.
Yeah, that one goes to the back rings. Get a look here at Emma Artichuk.
Fairly consistent first end so far in this event from what I've seen. Only done a couple games, but teams are certainly prone to playing as wide open a first end as they can get away with. Sometimes they can't get away with it, but they do like to take that first end to, as you say, just kind of get loose, warm up a little bit, read the parts of the ice that you haven't read because you really haven't seen much other than about one path. So it's a good opportunity to keep the weight up and just relax a little bit and get into game mode.
I always found that when I had an early game like this, I just wanted to throw a couple draws. I just wanted to, find if not my 4-foot weight, like an automatic 8-foot weight, and make a call like that so that my front end could feel good about making a shot, and everybody feels comfortable. Because I don't want to, you don't as a skip want to go 3-4 ends and your team hasn't swept a draw for you yet.
No. I always used to find it different back before the days of the draw of the button and stuff, and we just had practice, and we tried to go across the sheet, and one team obviously practiced early, one team practiced 10 minutes later, whatever it is, before the game, and it was always funny, even in that first draw, if you could find draw weight in that, in that first practice, it really stayed with you pretty good, and even though the second team comes out and the ice probably keys up a second and a half between the two groups, but yet somehow your body finds that adjustment if you've had decent draw weight during the first practice. It always amazed me. Nice shot here.
Nice shot by Robin Monroe, and it does nestle up to where Artichuk has to at least consider the fact that it could jam.
Both these teams look pretty solid, Dave.
They certainly do, so I'm looking forward to a good game. I mean, they've seen nice, clean deliveries, nice, clean releases. Everybody's been pretty much right on the broom, so should end up with a good game once they decide to jump in the pool.
Yeah, exactly.
Artichuk, this is going to be the final stone of the first end. Looking for the blank. Well, no shortage to wait there. This one is on its way down there smartly. This is dangerously close to nosing it. And it just skitters on out. The blank is good. So Artichuk will continue to have the hammer in the second end. And we'll be back from North Bay right after this. You're watching.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
What do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
'Tis the season to enjoy Swiss Chalet's festive special. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. Your favorite tradition, the festive special. Only $17.99, only at Swiss Chalet.
We're back here. It's the second end from North Bay, Ontario. This is the Swiss Chalet Women's Curling Stadium Spiel here from the North Bay Granite Curling Club. I'm Dave Schmel, joined with Jim Nix, and it's Emma Artichuk holding on to the hammer here in end number 2.
Yeah, well played end by both teams in the first end. No glaring misses or certainly no deliveries that we would think are a little suspect. Both look really solid. So, as you said earlier, hopefully going to have a really good game once they get going, which is now, I think.
I am looking forward to that, my friend. So here we have Katie McMillan, the stone for the Henderson rink. There's Robin Monroe with the skit duties this weekend. This one will make it around the guard, and it's going to settle just at the top of the button. So now we start to dance.
Yeah, that's an excellent shot there. Stayed above the tee line. Couldn't be better.
And they are dead in line. Right along the center line. Now, a nice shot returned by Rajala.
Yeah, really nice. Ice has a nice finish here this week. It's it's been good all year, no matter where we've been, really. But certainly in the first couple games we did yesterday, it had a really nice finish as long as you didn't overthrow it.
So now it'll be Lisa Davy has to counter this here. And see, right there, it takes a curl.
It does.
Now it need to hustle to get past the guard. And they will just kiss it. They waited just an inch too long. It might have been a touch heavy, too, but...
Yeah, I think it probably was a hair, but you're right. I think if you had been able to just sneak by, you might have been okay. You might not have bounced off like that.
So now Artichuk with the hammer. An opportunity to clear out these stones if they so desire. And possibly light 3 in the rings by the time you're done.
Yeah.
So here's J.B. Smith, the stone on the way. Looking pretty good, and it's going to be just the nose hit and roll in.
Nicely done, but yeah, I think you're going to have to see run back here for the Henderson rink. Might lose your back one, but getting a little messy in there. Although you don't have hammers, so you might like to just move them a little bit, as she's indicating.
Yeah, they're talking about both the different possibilities there. Key decision here in the early going. It looks like they're not giving up on the end quite yet, Jim.
Nope. Nothing wrong with this. It looks like both teams seem to have found draw weight really early in this one. So really, you just put another rock in play, just wiggle those a little bit. You'll have protection from the one you're throwing. And what I like about it right now for the red is the rock in behind is protected by those staggered blues. So you don't want to mess that up too much.
They're waiting for it to bend. This looks a touch heavier than they might have hoped for. Now, walk it over. Get it over, and let's see how we jostle it. You poke them around. You break up that stagger. Well, what's your assessment there?
Well, I don't know that I love it a lot, but I think for the blue rocks, it's pretty good right now. That rock was just far too heavy. As Terry would say, it was kind of the announcer's curse. I think I should never have made a comment on the draw weight, but
nobody curses better than Terry.
Artichuk's got a chance to play the straight back if she wanted, and could end up sitting pretty darn good. But she's going to play the little tap, back 8-foot tap, which is a good call as well. Certainly can get enough curl to move that red one out and sit a couple. If that's your desire. It's pretty early to worry too much about who shot rock and things, but a little bump wouldn't be bad.
So here's Smith with her second. This one needs to come over. Now that we see this a couple times, it looks like right along that path, if you apply a little bit of weight, it runs significantly straighter. It's a couple of them in a row now.
Yeah, it really does. As I say, it's got a great finish, but you've got to not overthrow it. You've got to just kind of nail the weight perfectly.
And in my opinion, that's great curling ice.
Yeah, I agree. And there's some of the little chance to kind of get out of this a little bit. Or Robin Monroe, I guess, in this case.
So the idea here is to just come tight on that guard and push it back and sit 1-2 there, top and bottom of the 4-foot, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't rattle this too much. You need to get enough curl, too, that you don't just tap it right back on your own. So you don't want to be overthrowing it. This looks like it could be really good.
Now needs to take that last little bit of break. Now coach it over. Are you going to get any roll? No, you really don't. Not bad, but I feel like that could have been better.
Yeah, a little bit. They could have snuck by a little tiny bit less and gotten maybe a half a rock buried, which would have been ideal.
But lots of catchers there.
There's a lot of catchers there. There's also a lot of blue rocks if you ever made this double.
And that is precisely what is on Megan Smith's mind right now.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for Henderson. They lined up quite the way they did, but still got to make this one. It's not a gimme.
Saying it's just a little bit up. Now trying to walk it over. This is hanging out. It's going to get a piece, or are you going to get enough to make the double? On the one, no, you jam it there.
Yeah.
But you do lie 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, the saving grace is the red one is nicely behind the guard, so that's much better than if it was sitting there wide open. It'd be a bit scary, but still a little bit scary. Got to make a good shot here and try not to set that double back up again.
Yeah, I'm at least somewhat concerned. Although, if you make, I think there's a triple there.
On the blues?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know how hard she's going to throw, but she hasn't got any ice, so she's not going to just throw draw weight at it. These teams all throw with, the young teams all throw with lots of rotation.
This is pretty firm. Looking pretty close. You're going to get on the first one, push the second one. Oh, and that's it. Just need to come up a touch.
Yeah, it didn't need much. You're right. It was a good shot. Excellent shot. Once again, there is a double. Not an easy double, but there is a double here.
This is certainly not the easiest angle. I think they acknowledge that as well. But still going to take it on.
Oh. Sometimes when you're skipping, you get your head down, you're thinking, and the other people at the other end are trying to get your attention. They just waving brooms, waving arms, waving whatever, and then you look up.
This one needs to get there, holding the line. Just need a little sliver. 1 and 2 off the back. Do you still clear it out? Now you lie shot on it, but red is second and third. So close to being so good.
Yeah, it truly was. And for the Henderson rink, they're, I think, pretty thankful right now. It certainly looked like that could have been just a lot better than that. It just had to stay a little bit better for them, and they would have ended up with a whole lot of blue ones and no red ones. So fortunate in a way. Now the question is, do you ignore that blue one and come around? And I think you almost have to.
I think it all depends on who you think is line second here.
Yeah,
it is really close all the way around.
Yeah, I think you're right. The first call, though, I think reds are second and third, but definitely second with the one at the back and one on the E in college. Yeah, that might be a little closer to the blue one.
I have some friends who'd say there'd be an easy way to figure that out. Just throw that big cross house double.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That, of course, is much easier to call sitting on my recliner.
Oh, would it ever be? That is a long one, too. The angle's right. We'll say the angle's right at least for it, but
yeah,
you better throw it hard.
Here's the first from Fay Henderson. Just electing to throw the draw. We didn't want to touch it because it looks like it might be just a pound heavy. Now coming down nicely.
Yeah, you're right in that it was definitely just a pound heavy. It was very, like 2 feet probably from being absolutely perfect. Still pretty good.
So you can probably get there on the outturn side and poke it through if you desire.
Yeah.
Looking here at angles of running the guard in. I won't lie, Jim. I'm not in love with this.
Yeah, I don't know if I am either, but I don't know that. I mean, if she plays to come around to the red, I guess if you can come on the outturn and tap it right out and sit 2, that would be perfect. I think she's getting a little nervous about what she might have on her next shot is the problem.
So a little bit more the conservative take here for Emma Artichuk.
Yeah, it's never good to be sort of bailing on your skip's first rock, but it might turn out okay for them.
Here's Artichuk looking to make this run back.
Over curling.
It's over curling, and it's going to just still catch it. Oh, and get through there. How about that?
Yeah, nice shot. I thought it had already gone past the point. You'll see it here. It looks like, they had to do all they could to hold it. And for a little while there towards the end, it really looked like it was going to curl just that little bit too far. It took another millimeter or so, and she doesn't touch anything back there except for the one way back. As it was, she hit actually a pretty good chunk of it. Still there, though. Still there to be used.
But now with taking this hit here, if made, likely, despite of all these stones, will put a force on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. There's a lot of rocks technically in the house.
So Fay Henderson with her final, the second. Electing instead the come around.
She's just through this, so that's always a help.
Now this one needs to finish hard and stop.
It's back a little further, so it gives the Artichuk team a little bit more opportunity to play the tap. You have a little bit more room to work with.
I'll certainly got to try to dig it out and make two here. Are you surprised by the call the draw there?
By the Henderson call?
Yeah.
No, not really. No, I think it was a great opportunity to maybe even steal a point, having just thrown that. And the only other option would have been to go over and bust that blue one out, and then you're going to leave just a draw to the 8-foot, and things could go bad back there as well. If you ever hit it too much on the nose and leave the blue one around somewhere, you could look at a 3 even by the time it was all done. So I like that call. It's just 2 or 3 feet heavy.
Emma Artichuk, final stone at number 2. Looking to punch this red stone through to get a deuce.
Very delicate shot.
On it to hold it now. You're by, carve it over, got to get it just right. Don't want to jam it.
I think it's perfect.
You're going to make the tap. Do you push it past far enough? Yes, you do, and that's a score of 2. Great shot by Emma Artichuk as she takes a 2-0 lead after 2. Here from North Bay. We'll be back. You're watching Curling Stadium.
Hey Canada, head on down to Montana's for our 50-day aged 7-ounce sirloin flame grilled with 2 sides and onion rings, all for just $25.99 every day. Premium steak without a premium price. Only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Spiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
And we're back here. It's Ed number 3. The Swiss Chalet Women's Curling Stadium Spiel, and great shot by Emma Artichuk there to finish off the second end.
Yeah, we're saying you're going to have a look at it here, and you'll see the shot managed really well. inside sweeper a little bit early, outside sweeper to finish it off, and Emma made this look much easier than it was. It was not easy. You could barely see it, if at all, went the other end of the rink, and they made it look like a wide open draw to the 8-foot or something. So it was well done.
If we see that shooting the whole time, this should be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, it's certainly an indication. The first few ends are being very well played. A couple of heavy rocks there in the middle, but other than that, pretty good.
This event coming to you from the North Bay Granite Club, a nice 6-sheet facility.
This one's going to have a bit of a hard time getting over there, but here it comes.
And we've seen that late finish, especially if you're down weight, but you're right, it didn't get up all the way, but gets to the corner.
Yeah. Just looking for about back 4-foot weight on this shot, I think. Back 4, back 8 at most.
Lisa Davey here. 5th player joining the team this weekend as Fay Henderson, not with the squad this week.
Look at that shot, playing for a full-time job. That was a dandy. Still lead stones, actually. Sorry about that.
Oh, you are correct. How about that? Although you make a good point. It's interesting oftentimes when you see the 5th player come in and really perform extremely well. Like we saw with Adam Casey a few weeks ago.
Yeah. It's sometimes you start to wonder a little bit. All sports really, that when somebody's not playing quite as well and they bring somebody in, and then but the full-time person still gets to play. Sometimes you wonder, like, why? Whether it's baseball, football, curling, whatever it is, like, why wouldn't they just leave the person in there? But lots of time in the case of curling, the 5th player's there by personal choice, and they would like to. They know they don't want to play full-time or don't have time to play full-time, or whatever it might be. More than happy to play an event, more than happy to play a game here and there, but really not looking for a full-time job, if you will.
That's really good insight, Jim, because I don't think the average curler really realizes that. They think that if the team has 5, all 5 of them go around every week, and they certainly don't.
No. Very few teams would do that. A couple of the top-end teams, and I think a Holman's team and whatever, it's a couple teams, the 5th player will make it to almost everything, but rarely does that happen. Same as coaches. Sometimes some of the teams have coaches that will be at everything, and others, they don't have coaches that are going to make 13 events a year. So one back looks pretty good here.
I know, at least with some of the smaller national organizations, the coach actually, will step out on the ice and play sometimes. Here's a look at that shot.
Yeah, this is a real good shot. I don't know that she could have made it better. There might not be enough room between the reds to get both reds, but this is a really good effort. And it rolls off a little bit. The only bad thing, I guess, at all is it sort of sets up a semi-corner guard for the Henderson team, but you can't make everything sometimes.
So Jamie Smith This one's going to come across the center line and get underneath that corner guard. How far under? A little better than edge on edge.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's you're sitting 2, but certainly an opportunity for Artichuk to make that hit and roll that she just indicated, or play the top one. So we'll see which way she goes. Like the hit and roll.
I think it's a good high percentage shot.
Yeah, and unlike some of my teams, sometimes me included, everybody here seems to throw the weight they're asked to throw. So that's always a helpful situation. Might have set this out just a little bit. Looked like on the release, maybe just moved it out of touch, but working hard. Looks like probably on the nose. Just a little bit of an outward action on the release there. Made that rock run a little bit straighter for a little longer than what they would have expected.
So I hear you. I hear Terry. I hear Sean mention that in, out, outward. To the newer player, what does that mean?
Well, sometimes it can be as simple as you're sliding right at the broom, and when you put the turn on, instead of putting the turn on with your hand kind of just going straight ahead of you, you put the turn on a little bit to the outside. And when you do that, it just makes that rock go straighter down the sheet because it's not going in the direction that you're expecting it to go. Other times it can be like in my case, for example, I throw an in-out turn, which has never been a good thing, but I've never really quite been able to fix it. And for me, what that means is when I start forward, the rock, instead of being dead in front of me, sometimes the rock is a little bit left of center. If you can picture that when I'm coming out, I'm right-handed, so a little bit left of center. And then when I bring it back to the broom, I'm actually going a little bit towards the outer edge. And most of the time you'll get away with it on ice that has any curl. Sometimes when the ice is a little bit straight, it gets to be a real problem. Like that shot there, she still managed to hit that on the nose. If you were on straighter ice in some curling clubs that you have, that rock may have only hit half of that rock and rolled out. So not know if that's the best description, but that's the best I can come up with. I can picture it in my mind. Just got to be able to say it right.
So now here we see that the hit and roll over to the other one and maybe even make the double. But opportunity for Artichuk to lie 2 here after this stone. That last one unfortunately jammed. So here's from Megan Smith. Line looks pretty good here. Got to hang on to it. She says, whoa, it's good. And that's because it is.
Yeah, it turned out really good. See it again here. Megan definitely wanted them to get off it. I think that if they were playing the double, they actually had it a little bit thinner, but it all worked out in the end. Sweepers just ignored the thrower, which is usually what you try to do if you have both people hollering. You try to just go with the person in the house. Usually, sometimes it's just whoever yells the loudest, Dave, that gets the reaction. So
sometimes it's a skip on the adjacent sheet.
Yeah, sometimes that as well. Yeah. This one's a little bit slow to curl.
It is now finding its way across. The question is, does it have enough steam? Gets back, but it's definitely pickable.
Yeah, for sure. Great sweeping job by Lisa Davies, our fill-in for this event. Good job getting that to go over as far as it did. We saw from the last hand, this won't rattle Emma much. She can see half of it. That's a lot more than she could see in her last one in the last hand. So
Now, Emma Artichuk settling on in. Just looking to pick this. Hold on to the shooter in line 3. Her first of the third. Right off is the first call. Right off, never. Gonna grab it now. Do you get enough? Now sit there. Sit there. Sit there. Pretty good.
Yeah, you can see these guards that are out there are going to have to be a little tighter to the rings if they're going to be useful, because the ice has just such a nice finish that it doesn't seem to much matter how much you get behind it. They can dig it out.
Now, I see them motioning towards the stone all the way there in the wings. Do you think that being the way it's frozen there will generate a favorable angle for them to maybe make a potential double go easier?
On which blue one are we talking about, Dave?
The one that's frozen on the red there with the college.
Yeah, no, I don't think they can do anything with that rock. So I think they have to play this middle rock, and if they're going to play a hit, they have to play the middle one. I think they'll try to play this and roll right on top of as close as they can to being on top of the blue at the back of the 8-foot here. The other option would be to come right around that guard, but she just saw Emma go around there and get it with a pretty good shot. So I'm sure she's thinking, I can't get shot behind that guard and have her not be able to remove it. So I'm going to play the hit on this one.
So Robin Monroe with her first in the third. Very positive release on that one.
Yeah, a ton of rotation on this one.
Gonna come up right to the nose. It does lie shot.
Interesting to see where she wants to roll on this one, or if she wants to roll at all.
I guess if you roll next to your other rack, you're forcing a draw to the 4-foot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be fine. Could also try to roll just to the opposite side of the button and make the removal of the blue one a little bit harder.
So here's Artichuk. Holding this one. We see this one coming across that center line really hard. And it's going to be right up against our own. So the force is on. It's just how they want to be forced here. Electing to hit.
Yeah, a little bit surprised. But quite a bit of room to work with here. You can hit it a little bit on the inside and be okay. You can hit it on the nose and be shot, and you can probably even just go a little bit past nose and still be okay.
So there's a lot of ways to be right here.
Yeah, the out-turn draw looked like the shot that I'm thinking she would play, but
Final still in the third end. Robin Monroe needs to hit and stick for a single. It's tracking on over nicely.
Has to curl a little more, though.
It hits. Does it hang on? Does it hang on enough? Yes, it does, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right, but man, that was close to a steal or two.
We're going to take a look at it here. I think it's red. But the teams aren't 100% sold on it yet, and that they are going to put a stick to it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. It doesn't look really close to me, but it might be a little bit the angle of the camera that fools us. It might not be exactly over the center. It does look like red.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet at least 27 attaboys that it's red.
Yeah, that's reasonable, I think, in this case. Can't challenge that one. I don't want to lose any more attaboys than I have to.
No, absolutely.
So I'll save those for another time.
I'll make plenty of errors that you can earn chips on me back. You'll earn some attaboys in return.
All right.
You mentioned that Terry Corbin mentions the announcer's curse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have been very famous in screwing up blank ends of late.
Oh, is that right?
So, of course, as luck would have it, the measuring bar is probably all the way on the other side of the house. So we want to take a chance to thank our sponsors for this Spiel. Swiss Chalet. They're founded in 1954.
50 years old.
Happy anniversary.
1954.
Famous for the Chalet sauce.
Yeah.
Okay.
A very fast measure there.
It was a very fast measure. It is indeed red.
Yeah.
So it was a single point there for red. And we'll be back after this.
Swiss Chalet's festive special is back. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. It's a tradition truly worth sharing. The festive special, only at Swiss Chalet.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Yeah, I probably just...
And we're back here in end number 4. It was that measure that got a single point for Team Henderson. Robin Monroe was able to just hang on for that hit. I'm Dave Schmel, joined by Jim Nix on this fine morning in North Bay, Ontario. It is the Swiss Chalet Women's Curling Stadium Spiel. Now the hammer swings on over to Emma Artichuk, and a little scary there for Robin Monroe there in that last one.
Yeah, it was. That rock was rolling pretty good and being swept pretty strongly, and it was, 2 more inches or probably 1 inch, and she gives up 1, and 2 or 3 inches, and she gives up 2. So, just had to hit a little thicker to be safe, but managed to get away with it.
It's going to look the same on the scorecard as a perfect shot.
That's exactly right.
So now after that slightly more involved end, we see a little bit more of a basic end setting up.
Yeah, Artichuk in a good position here, being up 2-1 with Hammer playing 4. She could manage to put a deuce on the board here. She go to the break in quite a strong position for the second half. That's a bit of a nasty one for the team without Hammer.
One of those little lobs.
Yeah.
They will go after that lousy outside biter. And we have the 5th player in the team, Lisa Davey, chasing that one. On this one, really hard to hold it. They're going to get there, no problem. The question is, how's the roll going to go?
Roll too far, I think.
It's going to skitter all the way and almost went from being a front biter to a back biter.
Yeah, they can't be too happy with how they managed that one, that's for sure. You'd rather not roll back there, although Artichuk's hitting it, which I didn't know she would. I thought she just might play a draw down to it and go from there.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit of a missed line call there because I feel like the thrower had a good beat on. They had to get off of it there.
Yeah, she was trying to get them off at the end, and
wouldn't have taken much.
No. Well, yeah, and that's something everybody has to remember too. You're really talking about, hitting, 3/4 to an inch more of the rock or so, and that's not a lot, to make a difference of 4 or 5 feet in the roll.
Especially after 146 feet of travel.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of an easier hit here for Davies. Trying to work it over. This one's just going to be dead nose.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of good sweepers here this weekend. And a lot of these teams I'm not familiar with, and I've seen some tremendous sweeping going on, particularly last night with the St. George's team where they're playing with 3 this week. And Emily Riley was playing lead and doing a lot of sweeping, and man, strong sweeper.
And we just trade the hits right back. Up and down we merrily stumble. Now we're going to try to get a little bit more involved because now with that rock up in front of the tee line, you're in a much more advantageous position if you can make this roll.
Yeah, I think if you make the perfect roll here, you're going to be behind the button, but
this is going to get no roll at all. Very little.
it's one thing I have noticed is that, the ice is obviously great, has great finish, and the rocks appear to be fine, but they don't quite have as lively a striking band as some others that we've seen over the season. It takes a little bit less of the rock to get a good roll.
And like everything, that's just part of the game. You have to, you're playing with the rocks that are with you, and you just make adjustments. And your teams that see that and read that faster are going to be the ones that are playing on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This one is hanging out there a good deal, and it's going to roll on out.
Yeah, that's a big rollout too.
Because jumping that opportunity to draw underneath.
Yeah, and with the guard being Henderson's rock, it's a lot more appealing to go around this one.
So Haley Duff. You say just top 4 is ideal here?
I would think so, yeah.
This one needs to curl on over.
Well, they got it just far enough that they can't make the roll and go under, but yeah, just need a couple more feet of weight.
You see him calling for hack weight, trying to roll to the open side now. Here comes the stone from Megan Smith. She likes it. She wants him off of it. That's not a bad outcome. Probably could have stood to roll just a touch further, but
yeah, that probably would have been a little bit better. It just obviously makes the roll back much harder if you can be further away, and you're going to make an assumption that Henderson is not going to choose to ignore it wherever it is and play the come around. So you're pretty safe that way. Another foot or two roll would have been great. Still a tough roll. You got to roll perfect to make this one good. Your guard's nice and tight to the ring, so at least it's, she doesn't have a lot of room to come by and get you if you can make a good roll.
coming on down, it's going to roll. It's going to roll a long way.
And they might want to take that a little further.
Yeah, this is going to be an opportunity for Artichuk here.
Doesn't look like she's going to go that way, though, David. She's talking about rolling to the outside. At least she tapped that way, so we'll see. It's not an end you would normally be excited about blanking, but you also don't want to give up a steal. But
no, you don't ever want to do that.
No. But a bit surprised that she's not going to try to go under.
Yeah, I definitely thought you'd try to press the issue just a little bit.
Yeah. And she might have. We'll have to figure it out from when they start to sweep. And we saw a tap of the broom to the outside, but that doesn't, we're not hearing anything. So lots of time the broom's tapping all over the place, but they're not, the conversation's not going exactly the same way as we might think it does.
First to two for Emma Artichuk. And they are going to go for that roll. Trying to get to the outside. And they do roll it there a little bit, so they get what they called. Now it does appear that Team Henderson with Robin Monroe is going to try to go for that roll underneath with the force on.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing to lose at all for Henderson. If it happens that it doesn't roll the right spot, so be it. It's just going to be an open hit otherwise, so you might as well go ahead and take a shot at this. Not very much ice, so it's I know it's not busting in there with any kind of weight, but I might want to be a hair more than that.
Probably trying to keep the roll very flat. It is firm weight. Now they're trying to make it curl. Looks like she might have popped it out just a touch on the release. It's curling up now. Get the hit. Do you get that roll? Come on, push it over. And that's all you're going to get.
Yeah, no surprise that she might be a tiny little bit heavier on that than what they were thinking, but I would guess, my guess is that she didn't want to be quite that heavy, so it does stay there really nicely. And you're right, I thought maybe she might have pushed her out a little bit too, but still, pretty darn good. Good teams, these teams. I like it.
Final stone at number 4. Emma Artichuk looking for the blank.
Not the easiest of blanks. You got to roll 5 feet to get rid of the shooter, so you got to make sure you keep the weight up on this one. And it doesn't look like she has any trouble doing that.
Last of the 4th.
A lot of rotation, kind of a normal trend is those peels. If you can add some rotation to that, makes it a lot easier for that shooter to go away.
You catch it, spill it, it gears on off. The blank is in the books. It's 2-1 after 4. We'll be back after the break.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Hey Canada, head on down to Montana's and get the best of both worlds. Enjoy our 7-ounce sirloin aged for 50 days, flame grilled and served with your choice of 2 sides and onion rings. Just $25.99 every day. Plus, for a limited time, add a Canadian lobster tail to surf your turf. Only $10 more. Dive into this or our lobster spinach dip, lobster mac and cheese, and more. Only for a limited time. Come for the barbecue, stay for the flavor. Only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
And we're back here at number 5. It's the Swiss Chalet Curling Stadium Women's Spiel at the North Bay Granite Curling Club in North Bay, Ontario. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Dave Schmel, joined by Jim Nix, and a blank end there leaves Artichuk still with the hammer with a 1-stone lead here coming into the 5th.
Yeah, a little bit surprised with how Artichuk played that in. She had an opportunity early to maybe draw down to one of the ones at the back of the 12-foot. Not too surprised at the tail end when she opted not to try to make the roll, but I still thought that would have been worth it as well. It was a big end to score 2, and it wasn't a bad end to get 4. So I thought you'd take a little more of a aggressive end, run at that one to try to generate your deuce, but she decided to play almost like she's playing for the blank right out of the gate, and that would seem like an odd end to do that in.
And now after the first two lead rocks, an empty house, we may be heading that way again.
Yeah, it makes way more sense for Artichuk this end, so to be looking to blank.
And this guard attempt stops just short of the rings.
Yeah, very nicely done. You're on the center line.
Did you see that one? I saw a clip online where there was a dispute about whether a rock was on the center line because it was in an area where there was a logo in the ice, and they couldn't find the official, and the teams agreed on letting J.D. Lind come out and adjudicate it.
Yeah.
That can get a little bit tricky with some of the sponsor logos, because obviously we are tremendously appreciative of all the sponsors in curling and want to give them their due.
Yeah, you're right. Some of the logos are obviously far more elaborate than others, and it's if they have a sketch of something rather than as opposed to here where you have a bunch of block letters and spelling out the name of a company or whatever. It's those are pretty simple and pretty easy, but when you get some of the more elaborate logos that are there and multicolored and everything else, it does skews the vision of the lines a little bit too. But like you say, they're a necessary item in most curling clubs around the world, so can't complain about that.
It's at Martinsville where we have the beer one where the guy with the beard made out of hops.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He said they need a draw right to the nostril.
Yeah.
Now we have a bit of a stagger here and game on.
Yeah, not a good shot for the Henderson team. The good opportunity there to get around a couple staggered guards, and they don't have hammers, so it's not bad that there's another rock out there. But that was a good opportunity to sink one in there pretty good.
So we'll be Team Artichuk looking to sink one in there themselves. And Jamie Smith. This one quite a bit heavy and quite a bit wide and quite the bit through.
So a second chance for Henderson.
Lisa Davey. Getting another crack at the apple. This one has some way to work.
It does.
Now it takes it, but can they walk it over far enough? Try to get every ounce of curl that you can. You're going to get a piece there, but you're also going to be behind the tee line.
Yeah, it moved over further than I thought it might, but you're all right. You are behind the tee line. I suspect that she'll peel the guards here. It would.
And that is what is forthcoming.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple looking double peel, really. Just half a rock on the outside or 3/4 of a rock. Either one will make the double peel. You definitely want to make the double peel here. You don't want to just get one of them. It's going to curl a bit, I think. They're trying to go straight, but I don't think you want to go straight.
You got one and you're spilling that opponent's rock in, leaving them lying 1-2 in the 4-foot.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they were not trying to make that curl a little bit as opposed to to holding it. Now, they weren't doing much of anything, to be fair, but if anything, they seemed to be trying to hold it straighter and definitely need to curl.
You see, they just discussed the two options. They initially indication was to take out the blue stone in the top 12 and roll for a guard, but electing just to throw a guard.
Yeah, it's a good setup for Henderson. So like the guard, it'd be easier to get the guard on by throwing the guard than just playing the hit and roll. But and you're down one, so I like this call better than the hit.
This is going to run out of line in a hurry, though.
Yeah, it needs to stop pretty soon, or it's going to overcurl for sure.
Well, it's out there. It's a long way out there. But still not the best angles back for Artichuk to get there with any kind of real weight.
No, when she was moving her broom over the rock, it looks like they can probably see a third of it. I could see taking a run at this and just, icing it so that if you're going to be throwing peel type weight, icing it so if you do miss it, you take the guard off.
So here's Haley Duff.
Need to hit what you can see here.
Gonna play it really tight to the guard. Gotta paper the guard. Paper it. Yes, you do. You're off of it. Now you get 1 and 2. You make the double takeout. Great shot by Haley Duff.
Yeah, that was a dandy. Really well thrown in. Didn't throw it, parking lot weight. Just threw nice solid weight. It's all about the line. Didn't even need very much help. Sweepers do a little tiny bit here to hold it straight, but really, Hillary did it pretty much on her own on that one. Hits it perfect.
And that changes the playing field here.
It does.
Shows you just how important that placement of those guards are. Because if that guard was just even 4 inches over it, that shot isn't there.
No, not at all.
So many times the entire complexion of an end is based on how well your second or leads can put those guards exactly where you need them to be.
Yeah, and sometimes just a little bit too casual approach on those individual shots too separates the best from the not quite good enough teams.
Yeah, it's really easy to say, just throw a guard. Throw a guard. But that perfect guard is every bit as difficult as drawing the pin.
Yeah.
So, Megan Smith looking to put one underneath cover here. She always lets her feelings about brushing be known.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. We've seen that pose numerous times. She's played a great game, and every time she does that, she seems to make a perfect shot. But it is an interesting pose that comes up probably 3 times now. We've had that exact same pose, so she's close when she does that. And That was a great shot.
It really was.
Don't know if Henderson can get around the guard tight enough to move the blue one out. Or if you opt just to play the freeze to it, it's an option.
Could freeze. You could also run your own.
You could run your own, yeah.
But if you ever miss that, you've just given them 2.
Yeah, it's you'd like to think she'd be close on it. It's only about 4 feet apart, but just the same. It's an angle, and somebody's got to call it perfectly, so looks like the freeze here. You have to be really sure you don't slide this one past.
Yeah, because for the Henderson, Rankin, and Monroe, if they could ever work this into a force, that's good for them because they could take that hammer into 6.
Yeah. Beavers are off. Makes you think it's a little bit heavy.
I'm about ready to do more than think it's heavy. This one needs to turn. It does slide past it. How far? Back to the 4, back to the 8, back to the 12. Unfortunate time for a half shot there. Not even half shot.
Yeah, no, absolutely right, Dave. It's anywhere short of that blue stone is pretty good. It makes the 2 certainly a challenge for, at the very best, a challenge for Artichuk. Now you're looking at 3. If she puts this one in a good spot, she puts it in the same place as her 3rd put it a second ago, she's going to have a hard time preventing a 3. She might be playing that slash that you're pointing out a minute ago and hoping.
And I don't know about you, Jim, but I don't feel good about hoping with my last stone.
No, it's never good.
So, Emma Artichuk with the first of Skip Rocks in the 5th. Now this one needs to curl.
Yeah, a little better weight, so.
Coming in now, it's still just a touch heavy, but this isn't too bad coming down to the guy in the back.
No. Does leave the same shot for Henderson, for Robin. I don't know that she's got anything else, so you really can't afford. I don't think you can afford to run the red. You just can't take a chance of giving up 3. I don't think you can throw enough weight to get that blue one out to be shot rock. So I think you've got to. She's looking it over there. I don't know about that. I think it's
throw around the intern side, eh?
Yeah.
Great shot if you make it.
It is. I think you're going to need. We haven't even seen this, but I think you're going to just. My gut tells me you're going to need a little more ice than that, but.
Yeah, I would feel comfortable with a blade more there, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Huge, crucial shot here for Robin Monroe. So if you had to place it, how deep do you want it, Jim?
I wouldn't mind being just. I would like to be full 4 foot just. So I'm shot rock. And right behind my red. That's where I'm going to be.
All right. Her final, the 5th. Waiting on it to curl. Line looks pretty good. It's all about the weight now. Now it's taking the curl. Let's walk it over. Let's drag it there. Gotta get it there, ladies. Come on. Gotta get there. And can you get there? Be full 4 and shot stone? By God, you can.
That's a great shot. Yeah, you'll see this coming in. The girls working really hard. It's still got to go, and it's good. You got to remember here, you got to get it buried, so you got to go all the way. And just snuck it over there at the end. It's a wonderful shot. I think she shot rock. It certainly looks like that. It's an interesting call as well. I wouldn't be against if I was Artichuk. I wouldn't be against playing the double on the Reds for 2, just because I think this is just it's probably not a draw for 1 because she's probably trying to make contact with the blue one and split, a little bit of a split and get 2, but that's not easy.
No, this is not an easy shot for sure. Trying to play just a cute little, I say about what, back 4-way chip?
Yeah, at most, yeah. It's just a rub really on the front one.
Final stone of the 5th. Megan says no. She says, don't you sweep that. Don't even dare. Don't touch it. Now let's walk it over. Come on, you got to get just a little piece. Just a little piece. A little piece. You got a little piece. Now, are you shot? I think you are. I think it's the score of 1. We might be in for another measure here.
Yeah, this is close. No, 1 blue.
And it is 1 for Emma Artichuk, and she takes a 3-1 lead as we head to 6. Here from North Bay, you're watching Curling Stadium. We'll be right back after this.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Don't forget the brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just 1 more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
But I can't go to Mano. And we're back here in head number 6. It's the Swiss Chalet Women's Curling Stadium Spiel here from the North Bay Granite Club. Dave Schmel and Jim Nix with you. And, man, a couple really nifty draws there to close out the 5th, Jim.
Yeah, was there ever 1 by each skip? It was just, Robin threw a terrific shot for Team Henderson, just an amazing shot that didn't even know if she could make that shot. She made it. And then Artichuk decided to play the outturn, trying to get 2, but realistically 2 was going to be really, really tough, and made a terrific shot just to get to 1. So, yeah, the Skip stepped it up in that end for sure.
And now it does swing that hammer over to Henderson's rink with Robin Monroe calling the game. And the Red Rocks here in the 6th with that 2-hammer advantage, but they are trailing by 2.
Yeah, it's a big end for Robin's team for sure. It's you really want to get a couple here. 1 is not really what you want to do. Sometimes we say, well, you want to score in that 6th end, and you do. But when you're down 2, you really want to score 2 because you just put you in a better position going into 7. Otherwise, your chances are pretty good you're going to be looking at down a couple coming home or down 1 but without hammer. So neither one of those is preferable. Much better if you can score a deuce here.
So you heard it here first. According to Jim Nix, it is easier to win when you have more points than the other team.
That's generally true.
Attaboy.
Yeah, we're getting better at this all along. Now that we understand how to keep score and all that.
Oh yeah, let's the whole counting thing. I mean, I had to go back and watch my public television and get a refresher course on that, but we got the long guard up and now trying to corner onto that blue, and you see this time and time again, the team's trying to dance to be in the best position, and I think they just stepped on their foot there.
It did hang around at least. Sometimes isn't necessarily a benefit, but for Henderson being down a couple, it at least catches their other run. If they ever play a run back, perhaps it catches it and keeps it around. So
definitely falls under the I don't hate it category.
Yeah.
It's another great curling shirt.
Yeah. Back in the day, many moons ago, curling towels were a pretty popular item and had a lot of those little one-liners that were pretty cute at times. If you were a curler, to anybody else, it didn't make much sense sometimes. But
we used to have banners at our club with some of those euphemisms on it. Nice shot. Take it out. Or one of my personal favorites is an ice maker. People who can't swim, don't blame the water.
Yeah. Yeah. So Henderson, I think, has to move something around here. Probably, if you could throw it hard enough, you can probably get all of the blue ones. End up sitting 2 here. It might drag back on your own, but I don't think there's a lot to discuss here. I don't think you'll worry too much about the back one. I think you just try to get this one onto the top blue on the right hand side if we're looking at the long view here.
And Lisa Davey coming down and wants to make sure she's on point with the skipper here as to exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Certainly want to feel comfortable with what you're ready to throw.
Yeah, and she's throwing this one, so it's that was interesting. Very often see a front end player go all the way down to be clear on that, but not a bad idea here. It's a big point in the game.
Shot on the way from Davey. This needs to come on up. Pushes it back, rattles them around. And you have that.
Yeah, just not enough weight really to you would have had a hit. She didn't hit it in the perfect spot, but if she had a little bit more weight, she would have moved those rocks all out that much further and at least been sitting shot instead of sitting number 3 or 4 here. So just had to have a little more oomph on it, I think. I think even if I'm Henderson, I like the look of this better than I like the look of it a minute ago. It was just a little bit too much in the middle there.
So now Jamie Smith. Just trying to bring another one in there. This falls under the category of the best guard is line 3.
Yeah. A little bit deep.
I see them reference the double takeout right away there.
Yeah, it's interesting. You can also play the out turn through the port double, which sometimes you think the port's a problem, but really it's not really a problem there. And this might be a little bit easier actually than this one, but
any chance that one on the button catches the other one on the wing on the way by?
Oh yeah, I think it might. I don't know if that's going to matter too much. She's really just trying to, even though she's signaling double, she's mostly wanting to get over there. And when she makes contact with the blue, she should stay behind the guard. And if it goes over and hits the other blue one, that's fine. Well, Lisa coming with some weight on this one. If she'd thrown this weight in the last one, she would have moved everything.
Certainly. So it's definitely a club in the bag. She lets the big dog eat, gets 1 and 2, and there you do get that one out the side door.
Yeah, very nicely done. It surprised me because I assumed that, you see this one coming down here, and I just made the assumption that she just didn't have this weight, like you say, a club in the bag. I didn't know she had this weight available to her and threw it perfect. It's as good as you can make it. You were never going to get both those blues that you mentioned before. They were just both not going to go.
So it does leave Henderson sitting shot stone on the back of the button. With the landscape much better than it was just 1 stone ago.
This looks very nice.
Yeah, nice little tap back. Moved it just a skosh. They lie 1 and 3. Tough spot here.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely, well, again, you're all these shots, so you have to make all these shots now, but you definitely didn't make this one. She's going to play draw. At least I think that's what it looked like. Are they going to have a chat about it?
Now taking a look at the 2 rocks on the other side.
Yeah, I don't think you can do much with those. You could. I mean, the double off the high one's there, but man, it's very tough. You pop this through the hole, you're going to roll out into the 8-foot, and can pretty safe to assume Artichuk's going to play some kind of a hitch. You're not going to ignore it at that point. And that could be good or it could be bad, I guess, depending on where it ends up.
That's one doozy of an angle.
That would be a great shot if you made it, because you would stay right behind. Well, if you hit it right on the nose, you'd stay right behind the guard. Blues would be gone. You'd be sitting 1, 2, 4, and difficult to get at yours. So that would be a great shot, but I just think it's a little bit too difficult. Not worth the risk here. I think you can sit 2 with this shot fairly easily.
Well, if you made that shot, Jim, I'd give you at least 42 attaboys.
Attaboys, yeah. Well, you got 27 in the bank, so.
Yep.
You'd still have some left. You're not all in, at least. Big shot here.
Haley Duff needs this one. Needs it to come on over. This needs to curl. Needs to curl a little bit more to hang around nicely. Pop it just on over. Did you roll too far, Jim?
No, I think that's fine. You were going to roll over there somewhere. You were lucky enough to stay for sit 2. So this is perfect. It's where the sweepers, they just can't give up. It looks like you're never going to get there, and then all of a sudden it starts to move. And if you're carving it over there, it really moves well. If you're a good sweeper like these guys are. So it's a great shot. Now, if we're in the slams, but at this point, you'd say, well, it looks like a blank end. But it's amazing what they can do sometimes. But playing the double here, I think, or maybe the hit and roll. It's hard to tell.
I believe it's a hit and roll.
Yeah. Double's a little risky because if it ever doesn't curl enough, you get back a double for sit 2 or 3.
Shot on the way for Megan Smith. Up, she's in the stop pose. She likes it. And she should.
Yeah, very nicely done. It just put it back almost exact same place it was. So we know that Henderson can get to it, but can't see a lot of it.
Teams are really trading shots now. Here comes Haley Duff with her second.
Yeah, none of these have been easy shots. I mean, they're half open and things like that, but they haven't been easy to get those rolls and to pick those rocks out, and they're doing a great job on it here.
We got to walk this one over. Once again, you say it's never going to get there. It's never going to get there. Oh, gee whiz, it just got there.
Yeah. Another good shot. She almost managed to touch that blue one on the way by, which she might have ended up sitting 3 if she had.
That would have been really super nifty.
That would have been spectacular, because that would have been, you never ever try to do that, I don't think, on that shot, because you run too many risks.
And Jim, you're 100% right. It's not like any of these are triple inward, backward somersault dives with 4.5 twists.
No.
But they're all at least like a 2.7 degree difficulty or better.
Yep.
Or do our
I'm not sure what that number would be, 2.7. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what's good. So I don't know what's hard and what's not. It's got to be difficult.
Yeah, it's less than a triple Lindy if you ever watched Back to School.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little triple Lindy. Oh, Emma Artichuk tried to get all the respect. This one coming on down. Needs to bend. Trying to hold it straight. Going to catch just a little bit. Now, what kind of roll do you get? Not much at all.
No. Well, a lot easier shot this time for Henderson. Decent position to get her 2 here. Probably roll about maybe half to 2/3 buried would be good. I don't know that you even want to roll all the way buried, but
this is more of an inward 1.5 in the pike position.
Yes, that would be perfect. Painful, but perfect.
Painful for us.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking.
I'm in pain just thinking about it. Robin Monroe. Got to hold this one straight. Now, this does need to curl just a touch. Trying to get that curl. Did he get enough? You hit, you roll pretty good.
Yeah, ideally maybe a couple more inches, but that's not bad.
Now, can you fire at this with parking lot weight, as you'd said previously, and make all those reds go?
Yeah, I think you can.
It does look like the angles work. It's just a question of whether you take it on or not.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough getting the top one to go, but it's certainly there, and looks like she's going to play this. It's not a massive risk because, I mean, you'd have to be really unlucky not to get rid of at least two of the reds, and at very least end up with Henderson having to draw the 4-foot for her second one. So, and on top of which, there's not a whole lot else. You're probably not going overthrowing the out turn come around with her sitting 2 in the 4-foot, so, and a 3-1 lead. So this is going to be the shot anyway. So it's easy to commit to it.
It's always easier to make a shot when you really believe in it.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
So Emma Artichuk settling in. And she's looking to bring the heat. Her last of the 6.
A little wide, I think.
This one needs to curl. Started it out just a little bit. And this is just going to pick the top one and shoot on over.
Just tried to throw that little bit too hard, I think, Dave. It's just, not too many skips have ultra pill weight in their pocket, and I think she just tried to, in her effort to throw that just a little bit harder, just gave it that little push and pushed it not quite straight.
Now you see they're going to take the relatively straightforward 2. Would you ever be tempted to try to pick out that back guy and make 3?
Yeah, I'd be thinking about it. Yeah, I don't think the only problem is I don't know that you can pick it out. I think you'd have to play the double. I don't know that you can go through there on the in-turn and make that shot. I think it's just not enough room with the way the stagger is. So I think you'd have to be thinking double, but I would have at least had a little bit more of a look at this one, but 2 is huge.
Final stone of the 6th. Yep, final stone of the 6th in. Just needing to draw the 4-foot with backing. And not remove the stone you already have. This needs to settle. This needs to settle, or else it's only going to be 1. Settle down, stone. Settle down. I don't think it did. I think it's just a single.
I think you're right.
So what a turn of events from 2 for sure, maybe even 3, to looks like only 1. Another tight look. I'm willing to bet all the attaboys it's blue, though.
Yeah, and you're right.
And it is. So it's a score of 1 here in 6, and it's 3-2. We'll be back from North Bay right after this.
Hey Canada, there's something smoking new at Montana's. Beef brisket is now seasoned and then slow smoked in-house for 12 hours every day. Try it in our new Austin cheesesteak sandwich and other barbecue favorites. Only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Spiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Here we are back here from North Bay, Ontario. We're at the North Bay Granite Curling Club. It's the Swiss Chalet Women's Curling Stadium Spiel. I'm Dave Schmel, joined by Jim Nix, and a little bit of a missed opportunity for Team Henderson with Robin Monroe there in the last.
Yeah, really disappointing. That one hurts a lot. It's obviously the biggest miss of the game, and not by much, but just couldn't be heavy on that. Had to take advantage of the great sweepers you have and let them drag it in. And she was just ever so slightly heavy and only got the one, just moved her rock that was already shot just a few inches, and really disappointing on the scoreboard as well, because now you're looking at having to go steal to win this one, and you're in a great position with a 3-3 tie playing this end. But anyway, it is a 3-2 game, so we have a game.
Oh, certainly not over yet for sure, and we've seen a lot of good shots thus far. And you mentioned some great sweeping. The brushers seem to really have a handle on the weight when they need to. This Spiel sponsored by Swiss Chalet, celebrating 50 years this year. 70 years, rather.
70 years, yeah.
Even better. That's a lot of chicken.
That is.
So if you're Robin Monroe, you really have to have that goldfish memory, as the last rock thrower, and just put that away and forget that ever happened.
Yeah, you really do. Because you gotta have a clear thinking head for this end, because this is a big end here. You got to know for sure how hard you're going to steal. Are you going all out to steal this end? Or are you looking at being okay with the fours? You just have to be careful how you approach this end. You got to have a plan.
So they're going to play this hit on the in-turn. We haven't seen too many stones go this way.
No, you're right. Looks like
it does. Yeah, it comes right up to the nose. So you see that top biter there for Team Artichuk. I know it's early in the end, but you could really start to maintain some distance here.
Yeah.
That red guard is quite high. You can probably get around almost anything there.
Artichuk going on the other turn.
And there is plenty of green in between those two, as you billiards players might say.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, that the two teams opt to going different turns here. It's, obviously just a personal choice, but rarely do you see teams that play almost exclusively inside out. And Jennifer Jones is the one that comes to mind as the top-end teams that play the game more going inside out on takeouts than outside in. And not too many people do that. So it's interesting to see the difference here.
So why do you think people make those choices? I mean,
Well-
what would be the advantage of being playing inside out all the time?
Well, I think it feels a little bit like you have a little bit more room for error going inside out. That's the way I think about it. I tend to play the game outside in. She has to get a little more of this one.
And it's going to skitter all the way across the house and out.
And I think the other part of it, usually, historically in curling clubs, that up until more recent years, the ice always curled more going to the outside than from outside in. And a lot of clubs, especially curling clubs, outside in is always a little bit delicate as far as what the rock would do out there. A lot of times it would go straight. Sometimes it would even back up a little bit. So I think occasionally somebody gets locked in on doing inside out, but Jennifer's the only one that I really know for sure that that the game is predominantly played. Takeouts are predominantly played inside out. When you have a choice, sometimes you just don't have that choice.
So we see the center open up there.
Yeah, I don't quite know if I get this call. I'm not exactly sure where she's putting this, but almost look like a tight guard in front of the blue one to me, but I don't know why you would do that.
That's what I saw too. So I was hoping you had more insight than me.
No, it just doesn't. I don't know why, if you're going to go up here, you're not throwing I don't have any problem throwing a guard if you want to do that, although, you don't have to yet, but I don't have any trouble doing that. But I just don't know that I want to be over there. It's not going to get over there anyway. It's going to be kind of closer to the center line.
So now do you go behind it? No, you're caught in between.
If you're Artichuk, I think you're going to get rid of that. It's close enough to being a center guard that I'm going to try to get rid of it.
Be more than happy with a blank if you're Artichuk.
Well, exactly, yeah.
But
I would have rather seen the Scottish team to just come right around that if they wanted to, see what she does and go from there. Or just go with the center guard. That would have been okay too. I just didn't get that one.
Yeah, sometimes you have to walk out there, put your hand out there and say, do you want to dance?
Yeah.
Now I think a draw under is even more appealing, yet they want it there again.
Yeah, somebody would have to explain this one to me. I just don't quite get it. If you make this if you freeze on that blue one, she's just going to come around it, which maybe that's what you're trying to do, entice her. But if you're going to do that, you might as well just go now. Obviously, nobody's questioning it, so I didn't see anybody running down the ice and saying, "What are we doing?"
Well, here it comes from Megan Smith. Sorry, Haley Duff.
Yeah.
Wrong squad.
That's all right.
And we saw the first one hang out there forever. It's going to come down right where she called it.
Yeah.
Relatively, so.
Yeah, I don't know why you want her playing this shot.
Like you said, only if to freeze to it later and tempt it. And she's not going to fall for it. She's going to peel it all out.
It'd be interesting if they do end up peeling this one off, what the next shot is. Megan's had a pretty good game, I think.
Oh, I would say so for sure. Looked like she had to sell that shot to herself a little bit.
Yeah.
They are going to make that peel and get the little bonus of putting a second biter on. But it does kind of hook them a little bit. So if you want to go underneath, I guess now would be the time to do it.
Yeah, that's an interesting roll. I wondered that when she put it down there, if she could manage to put the other blue one on the rings, and she did. So that sort of creates a bit of a dilemma for the Henderson rink and what Robin wants to do. See here, at one point it looked like they might play the hit on those.
Play the hit and try to roll the shooter all the way underneath that long guard.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah, real tough. And if you don't happen to make them both, then you're giving up an easy 2. I think, you're committed here. I think you're going to draw in this shot, which is what she looks like she's going to do, I think. And, you go around, like you say, they did overlap a little bit. So if you can get it in there, might be a challenge might take 2 shots to get it out for Artichuk. A bit of an odd end. I was saying at the start, you sort of have to have a bit of a plan, and I don't know what theirs was here. So it's just a little bit different, but you can make it all better right now.
Yeah, it appears that they have one, and it's kind of almost seems to be almost what they wanted. So
yeah, and I'm not sure this isn't a guard either, Dave. It's just, maybe not.
Robin Monroe looking to draw one underneath this pair of her opponent's stones. The line looks fantastic. It just needs to get there for the weight. Just get it there. Come on, drag it past that. You squeeze past. How far do you get now? Oh, that's a well-thrown stone by Robin Monroe.
Yeah, that's a very good shot.
And the question is it hooked just enough? Take another look.
Yeah, you can see the girls going on this more for weight than anything here. You're definitely going to get by, and you'd like to get another foot of this if you could find it, but that's pretty darn good. 99% buried, and I don't think she'll go after it that way. She might go after it with running one of the blue ones back, the outside blue one. You can see here.
Gonna come out with the outside one.
Yeah. You could also play you could split those blues up if you wanted and play them with like a, kind of a backline weight and end up sitting 2-3 and force Robin to make sure she makes hers, or she's going to give you 2. Worst case scenario, you take your 1 and take a 4-2 lead to the next end. Nothing wrong with this either. If you make it really good, could be a real problem for the Henderson team. They'll play the same shot, but still.
So Emma Artichuk looking for the short angle here. Hold the line, looking pretty good indeed, and it rolls well open. I think that's a ideal roll.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a pretty much perfect shot. You'll see here. These teams have played so well today. It's not a bit of a surprise to see her make this well. Just a little bit of sweeping, not a lot. Megan Smith in the house called it perfect, and it rolled the rolled the target rock well over. Sitting 2 now, and really going to be difficult for Henderson to avoid a deuce. It rolled just far enough, too. If it goes another foot, I would think Robin would ignore it and come around the same guard that she just came around. But it's hard to do that with where this one is.
Robin Monroe needs a hit and a perfect roll to avoid giving up 2 here. This needs to curl on up. It's going to be close. You get the hit. Now straighten it out. Roll it over. Did you let it curl too much? I think you did.
Yeah, it definitely did. It's as I mentioned earlier, it just... You have to hit less of those rocks than you really think you do. She probably need to hit half an inch or 3/4 of an inch at least less of that target stone to to get that roll.
So Emma Artichuk hit and stick to get a deuce. Last rock of the 7th. To take a 3-stone lead coming home. Looking good. Just keep it clean. Hold it right there, and you're right on the beak. And that's a score of 2. They take a 5-2 lead coming home. We'll be back with the 8th end. Right after this, you're watching Curling Stadium.
Swiss Chalet's festive special is back. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. It's a tradition truly worth sharing. The festive special, only at Swiss Chalet.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
We're back here in North Bay at the North Bay Granite Club. It's the Swiss Chalet Women's Curling Stadium Spiel. It's the 8th end. It was a deuce by Emma Artichuk to take a 3-stone lead, now coming home here in the 8th end. Thank you so much for joining us here on Curling Stadium today. I'm Dave Schmel with Jim Nix. And big deuce there for Artichuk to take a commanding lead.
Yeah, really impressed with this team. Impressed with both these teams, especially Henderson's team, because they're playing without their skip. And Artichuk just threw 2 really nice shots. I mean, the first shot, that angle raise takeout, was a great shot. Put perfect roll with it and worked out really well. And the second shot, really for just an open shot, not a very exciting wide open takeout, but she threw it, just nice, easy control weight. They didn't have to worry about it doing anything weird and didn't throw it too hard. So just an impressive kind of a skips takeout. So it's good. Kudos to them for the deuce. I thought Henderson played a bit of an odd end in my mind, but at the end of the day, she almost pulled it out. So it was good.
So it will be an uphill battle here for Team Henderson.
Yeah, 3 is tough. 3 is doable, but you've got to do everything right, and not quite there yet.
So, corner card up, but Artichuk has a 2 in the rings already.
Yeah, she really needed to make both those corner guards and them not be able to be removed. So It's kind of when you're looking for 3, you need those 2. Just gonna peel the back one off. It's not an uncommon strategy sometimes. Some of our viewers might be wondering why you'd ever do this. And it's just, the rock's behind the tee line. It's not really going to help you. You have a 3-point lead. So that one has the potential to hurt you a little bit if the other team manages to play a freeze to it. So she opted, and she's not able to remove the, well, I guess she could have removed the corner at that point. But anyway, that's just trying to prevent any kind of a freeze. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. She couldn't remove that. Sorry about that. It was right the first time.
That'll cost you an attaboy.
Yeah. Darn. Sounds like a food chain. Fast food chain. Attaboy Burgers. Or
are they willing to sponsor us?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know if they're into plant-based burgers, though, Dave. You might have to relent. So corner guard going up again on the same side. We do see different approaches to these situations of whether or not you go and split the corners or both go on the same side. I haven't made up my mind myself whether or not I like one better than the other, but this is the way they're going to go.
This one is going to leave a bit of an angle on there, so they can probably try to get them both.
Yeah, there's really nothing to lose by trying that.
So here's Jamie Smith.
Megan getting rid of the gloves.
Gonna just get the one.
That's okay though. It's as long as she gets rid of one, she's good. She just
starting to get into just simple rock elimination mode.
Yeah, that's the problem being down 3, and it's because you can go around once, and if they peel the corner guard and make it well, it's just hard to get that third one in. Now she can take advantage of the blue one in the rings as well. You don't have to be shots, or at some point you could come around that. You're still going to need a miss somewhere, or a couple of half shots or something that is going to allow you to get your 3rd point. But as long as you can make them good here, you got to make the last 5 really well.
So here's Lisa Davey putting the guard back up. I imagine this is probably the last one he can throw.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too.
Angle probably even a little bit easier for a double peel here, but really just getting the one is the most important. Megan Smith dispatches that.
Guys have all the best food sponsors here with Swiss Chalet and their chicken, and Montana's, who probably have the best ribs I've ever eaten. There's also an ice sponsor here, so this is a great choice. I don't think you can afford to throw this corner guard. Rob would like a timeout. I think that's what she's trying to signal, but
I think so.
Yeah. Even if you don't bring a coach out, you might as well take it and talk about it from a little closer range.
Yeah, I haven't seen any time clocks. I don't know if we're on the clock at this Spiel or not.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I think they use that, like you say, predominantly for coaches and whatnot to have a chance to come out. But
now, you see the indication they're going to throw the opposite corner guard.
yeah, but then you're only going to have 3 to come. So you're going to go around one corner. And if she peels the corner, you go around the other corner, but yours is going to be wide open. So I'd come around this corner right now, and when she peels it off, then I'd come around the blue one. And I might have to come around the blue one again and make it double or triple on my last shot, but I might have a shot. I don't know that you're going to have a shot here. You need a complete miss on the peel. Could also freeze to the blue one would be another shot that you could play.
This one's going to be very tight to the rings, if not on them. So the corner guard being asked to go away here. The immediate write-off call, and ticks it over a little bit, and there's your crack in the armor.
Yeah, that's another announcer's curse on Megan there, but that does change things.
So you have 3 reds to come, and they all need to count by the time you're done.
Yeah, Artichuk got fortunate there that they did leave the blue one in the house, so these shots have to be that much better. You got to go back with this. Very nicely done.
There's stone number 1. Just peel, or are you going for the run and finish it right here?
Well, I think she's going for the run. I think you got to be really careful with that idea. You can never take the chance of just running this straight back and guarding the rock in the house if it stays. So you got to make sure that you're aware of that and don't get too greedy on this shot. But
well, she just moved to the intern side, so might be a slight change of plans there.
Yeah. If you just a straight peel, you're going to have a wide open hit to win the game. So
here's Artichuk with her first. Will she get the whole kit and caboodle? On it. Oh, just passed. And he did leave that guard.
Yeah, that's the problem. You just don't think it makes sense to do that. It's always tempting, but
ever so close to ending the game right there. Missed it by just a millimeter on the way by. And now we have timeout called here by Team Henderson. The coach is going to come out. Clancy Grandy is the coach of this squad.
yeah, I heard that earlier. I didn't know that, but I know Clancy's name, but I don't know that I know her very well. I don't even know if she's playing this year.
She's there in the red hoodie.
Yeah.
So, if you're Clancy Grandy, what advice are you giving?
Well, I think that if you think the outturn hit poses a little bit of trouble for Artichuk, then I'm coming around this corner guard on the left as we look down the sheet. Otherwise, I'm coming around the blue one on the outturn and trying to tuck a corner in there. Right there, basically, where she just put it. You can get there on the in-turn, but it just looks like be easier on the out-turn.
And the idea there is that you're hoping a run attempt scoots by.
Yeah, and you protect that back one a little bit while offering both rocks up a little bit. So, if you can just Christmas tree it a little bit, there's a possibility they only hit an inch of it or inch and a half of it, and maybe it doesn't go out. But if they hit an inch, they're probably going out. So maybe you got to hit a little less. Anyway, it gives you a little bit of opportunity. And she's going that way. I don't know exactly where she's trying to be, but I just don't want to go on the in-turn. I just don't want to bump that red one at all because I don't want to make that shot any easier than it is. Straight come around freeze to it wouldn't be bad. I just would like to take a little tiny bit of that back one away.
So Robin Monroe with her first of the 8th. Looking to try to keep her squad in the game. It's taking that curl now. Got to get there for a line and wait. It's really tight to the guard. You're past it now. Yes, you are. And the distance is pretty good, too.
Yeah, that's a great shot. You really, for me, if you were going to be perfect, it would have just been, 2 more inches over. But still, good shot. She's playing the run anyways. I thought she might just go after the back one. It looks like it's half open or so. But probably from the right-handed hack, it's maybe a little less than that. So, and we know she can make these. We saw one a couple ends ago. It was much harder than this one. This one's just a nose hit.
So,
but just a nose hit for the game, kind of, so it makes it a little bit more of a challenge.
Emma Artichuk. Run her own back for the win. Her last of the 8th. They're watching it. This needs to curl up just a hair. Runs it all the way past. Oh, no. And just like that, those best laid plans went astray, and we're going to have a hit for the tie here.
Yeah, so important to hang in there. It didn't look like this was going to ever come to having a possibility of tying this game up for Henderson. Now, all of a sudden, you got a fairly simple shot to do that. She's playing the hitter, I think.
Yep, Robin Monroe. Hit and stick to force the extra. Final stone of 8. The brushers like it. The third likes it. And so does she. And we're going to have bonus curling here from North Bay. 5-all. We'll be back with the extra right after this. You're watching Curling Stadium.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Back here at number 9.
Everybody went home.
It is an extra end here at the Swiss Chalet Women's Curling Stadium Spiel at the North Bay Granite Curling Club. Dave Schmel and Jim Nixon, if you got here early, you're going to get a bit of a bonus here today. A big 3 by Robin Monroe for the Henderson rink to force this extra.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere, Dave. It didn't look like it was developing that way at all. And then you had one missed peel, and all of a sudden the second guard went up. It turned out they didn't really need the second one, but they did throw the second one. And then you had a attempted run back by geez, I lost the name here.
Artichuk.
Yeah, by Emma Artichuk. And yeah, and it just and so close. I mean, Emma was probably what a millimeter or so away from making that shot, ending the game, and
twice the first attempt too.
Yeah.
So now, obviously, momentum, you got to feel like it's on Robin Monroe's side here.
Yeah, I think so. I think, hopefully the Artichuk team can kind of put that behind them a little bit, because it wasn't a poorly thrown stone, her last one. It, just needed, like I say, to come up just that little bit. And but give some kudos to Robin as well. Robin Monroe, she made a really beautiful draw on her first one to set up the 3, and then made a nice hit and stick to finish it off. So should be a good end.
Absolutely. And her front end has really been sweeping well with perfect control over those draw shots.
Yeah, they really have. They could have easily made a couple of mistakes that would have made the difference, and they didn't. They made everything perfectly well.
So now Artichuk has to forget that happened and realize you're not in a bad spot. You have the hammer coming home here. Just need to find a way to squeak out a single. This guard's coming down, and the double guard is up, and it does just touch the center line. So it can't be moved. This is where you see it's where you see the no tick rule really become a thing.
Yeah. I thought she might have played the tick on the first one. It just it looks like it's off the line, the one that's close to the rings, and I thought she might play that, but
now Jamie Smith. This one seems to have plenty of weight. Line's getting a lot better. Really took a left turn. And settles nicely.
All 4 rocks lined up. Pretty close to a straight line there. Nice. Henderson gets to throw one more before our Chuck starts peeling away.
And they're electing to come on down to the 4-foot here.
Yeah, you've got your 2 guards up there. You can't really do much more out front, so try to get in, sit on the corner of the blue one.
Look at the ladies drag that down. Once again, right in a line. So let's see how many of these can move.
Certainly getting the 2 guards would be a big plus.
Looks like she set it out just a touch there on that extension and will only get the 1.
Artichuk does have that rock in the 4-foot, which is in a really good spot as far as what Henderson has to do and what she can do. But for now, get another guard out there.
This one has some curling to do. Now it comes. Just don't want to get too close to it, buddy. Probably just got there enough, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it worked out pretty good, I think.
Like I said, Artichuk does have that control rock there. But Monroe can't force the issue quite yet.
Looks like the straight peel here, too. Looks like just a single she's going after.
Yeah, the angle you'd have to throw for the double, you might, if you're unlucky, you might do the work for him.
Yeah, it definitely could have happened.
And now we lather, rinse, and repeat. Put it up there again. Haley Duff called on for the guard. And like we said, it's not just lob a guard up. These have to be good. Have to be ever so patient waiting for it to come. Now it takes the curl. You're across the hog line. Now it's all about lining them up just right. I really like that one being really long.
Yeah, that's very good. No chance of any doubles.
Yep, has to be the single peel. And that is such a tough shot, especially late in the game. It might have some fudge spots and just trying to lay it over the hog line.
Yeah.
It's a stressful shot for the front end to sweep because, you never want to let it hog. It's an absolute disaster. You surely lose the game if you do that.
Yeah.
But if you end up overbrushing and bringing it close, you lose the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you see they're debating. They're going to throw the long one again, I think. Now here's a good lesson to your newer skips at home. You notice the broom is only just outside the 4-foot. That's because the stone's going about 20 feet less. It doesn't have time to finish.
Yeah, exactly. If you were going to try to draw the button here or draw the T line here, you'd need another foot of ice there.
It seems so simple, Jim, but it's a mistake I see all the time.
Yeah. Doing a great job of throwing this guard up, though.
Another good spot's going to force another single peel. They're leaving it just on the correct side, too. No way you could ever throw the double at this.
No.
So Megan Smith on the peel. She gets it, no problem. Now they're thinking about coming into the pool.
Yeah, it's not the best setup for Henderson for sure. It does dive in there so hard that it makes it a little bit reasonable to maybe get to the back of the button and be 2/3 or better buried. That's about the best you could hope for, I think.
Yeah, because you're never digging the shot rock out.
No. The only way you'd ever do that is play the double raise takeout on the reds, and that would be difficult to make that work well. And you'd only have barely the top of the 4-foot rather, and just be way, way too hard. That's why the Artichuk stone is so important where it is. It's just in a perfect spot. You can't go much deeper than that, but if you're only in the 8-foot, then if you flip those two rocks around, this would be a much easier shot.
So if you try to make this just right and force the big hit back and hope there's something left for you.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Robin Monroe. They're on this one hard to hold the line. This has got to get past the rocks, and they are going to be on their own, I believe. So did not get there. But it did lay a guard up.
Well, it did, yeah. And if, depending on what Emma decides to do here, you could have a little better situation for your draw. You might end up with a little bit more room to work almost. And as far as having some kind of cover, if she just hits this red one on the nose, for example, now all of a sudden you come around that and you're going to be, you can be buried behind the high one without getting over so far. So I think it's interesting to see what she tries to do here.
Now you could slash off both the guards, but if you're ever a little bit too high, you're going to remove your own.
Yeah. I don't know that she's trying to make the double here. I thought she might, but it looks like she's trying to. I thought it looked like she was going to say, "Well, let's hit it on the center line side and roll across."
Looks like she wants the double.
Yeah, you got to be really careful because it does look like there's enough room. You might be able to hit this red one past the other and pick your own out, which you don't want to do. So, see what happens.
Artichuk with their first in the 9th. Looking to clear these both off. Hold it out there. You clip them, you move them both, and you do get it just to go by. Good shot by the skipper there.
Yeah, that was very nice. See it again here. Not excessive amount of weight, just a normal takeout. Had the wherewithal to know they had to keep it straight. Just my own.
Yeah, just does make it. So your best shot here.
Well, I think the best shot here is probably the in-turn come around to the back of the button, bite the back of the button. I don't like the run back that they might have been signaling a little bit. And a couple of ends ago, we saw her make a shot just like this. Well, a few ends ago now, and I don't even know if it was going this direction, but she made a perfect draw in there.
And that's what's going to be on order.
Yeah.
It will force her opponent to a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you might think, well, the outturn, I have a little more room in the outturn, but you do and you don't. You don't have any extra coverage. At least this way, you have the red one's a little bit giving you a little bit of protection, and it's a little bit more in the thrower's eye than the other side. So I definitely like this turn.
So Robin Monroe with her last of the ninth. Looking on the in-turn draw. You have to lie shut when this rock stops. They're on it right off the bat. This does not look heavy. Gotta drag it there. Gotta get there. All the way, ladies, all the way. And that is going to come up light, and that will be the game. It's a final score of 7-5 for Emma Artichuk and her squad, and they pick up this victory here.
I thought overall, Dave, very good game by both teams. Yeah, there's always going to be some misses, but I thought both teams played quite well, and in a very difficult game, very tight game, and pleasure to watch that one.
Absolutely, and it will be our pleasure to bring you even more action coming up, scheduled in just about half an hour. We'll see if the ice can get turned that quick. But for right now, I'm Dave Schmel with Jim Nix, Connor Sims on our production. Thanks for watching Curling Stadium and the Stadium Sports Network. Have a great day.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
'Tis the season to enjoy Swiss Chalet's festive special. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. Your favorite tradition, the festive special. Only $17.99, only at Swiss Chalet.